Hi, this is Tim from latest3dsgames.com, and I'm here with my comparison of Lego Harry Potter, both on the Nintendo 3DS and on the PlayStation Vita. Now, to be honest, it's a bit of a lazy conversion on both of these games, and the reason I say that is I've quite enjoyed playing the game on both systems, but it is a cut down version for both the Nintendo 3DS and the PlayStation Vita, and I will say they haven't made the best use of either console. Still a very enjoyable Lego game. So you might say, well, it's not fair comparison, but because they've kind of been lazy developing both of these versions, it's probably one of the better games to kind of compare. So let's have a look at it. Okay, and you can see I've got the Nintendo 3DS version of Harry Potter down below with the two screens, and you've got the Vita version above. And playability wise, they're just as playable as each other. In fact, they're both cut down versions of the full console version on things like the PlayStation 3 and Wii. So let's just have a look at the real differences, because let's have a look at a bit more close up. So of course we've got 3D from the 3DS, which you can't see on screen. Now obviously the definition, it really kind of does stand out a little bit, the difference in the screens here. So this is the 3DS against obviously the much more highly defined and larger screen of the PlayStation Vita, which has obviously got a much better resolution, and although sort of graphically they're not that dissimilar at all as regards the sort of characters, how they're designed and how they look, and the bricks, etc. It's really just the the really fantastic screen. Really does, you can really now see obviously the difference that does make, and obviously it's larger. You can see the kind of colours really pop out on the PlayStation Vita, but it hasn't got the 3D, and the 3D is actually quite fun to use in the Harry Potter game. It's not too in your face, and it's quite playable, the game, throughout. So there's not a lot in it. Obviously it's just that it does look obviously quite a lot better defined there. I'm just going to turn itself off, and more colourful, etc. You would expect that with really just the definition of the screens doing that. So sound wise, we'll just take a quick listen. So of course you've got the familiar Harry Potter theme you can hear in the background, and got your controls below for your spells, etc., which of course you don't get on the PlayStation Vita. So this is the sound on the PlayStation Vita. Any difference? Well, maybe a little bit of difference. There's a bit more sound coming through. Well, it's actually different sound. You get the kind of cauldron bubbling more in the background as opposed to the footsteps. It's just kind of what the developers have done. Okay, and side by side you can now obviously see the difference again in the screens and resolution there. Okay, so playability wise, well, on the 3DS he's pretty easy to control, no real difference on the PlayStation Vita, and the only difference is of course you've got the two screens. I do rather like the two screens of the 3DS and the DS systems in the past, and it's useful for things like maps. In this case we've got our different kind of spells located down here, so it does come in rather handy, especially you've got like racing games like Mario Kart. You can see all the positions of the racer without having to kind of concentrate on or switching on your top screen. So it has got that advantage of two screens, but obviously it has got a much smaller, lower definition. But in this case, the difference between the games, you can see really your spells are there, and we're going to have a quick look at the PlayStation Vita. Okay, so again, there's no issues moving Harry around at all, and your spells are just in a different position, so you can change. It's no biggie to change And again, with with the control systems, there's nothing in it really. So really the only difference between this particular game of Harry Potter, because they are actually pretty much identical versions, is the definition of the screen, which does make it look quite a bit nicer, but of course you haven't got the 3D. Sound, there's not a lot of difference. So as a final summary, well, you pay your money and you take your choice, and obviously you can see now the real difference with the bigger, better defined PlayStation Vita screen. That's my comparison of the Harry Potter games. Nothing too in depth, as I said. It's they're both cut down versions of the Harry Potter years 5 to 7, so they're not as good as the console versions, although it's loads and loads of fun still. So this has been Tim at Latest 3DS Games. Thanks for watching.